This electronic stability programmer also offers certain value added functions that increase comfort and safety. So what are these value added functions which are provided by the electronic stability programmer? As for example, the heel hold control assists the driver when starting off on inclines by independently applying the brakes for around 2 seconds after the driver has released the brake pedal. The system can also protect vehicles with high center of gravity from the risk of rolling over. So we are going to study in details about this value added functions one by one. The next slides. So what are the benefits for the driver due to this system? It counteracts vehicle skidding. So whenever the vehicle is about to skid, that time some counteraction is taken by the vehicle. For example, by applying the brakes separately on the vehicles, by reducing the of the separately on the wheels, by reducing the speed of the individual wheel, by applying the brake on the individual wheel, this skidding can be prevented by some counter action. So it also provides effective support in critical driving situations. So when the driving become criticals, at that time the effective support is provided by this system. The value added functions provide additional driving safety and enhanced driving comfort and driving agility. The electronic stability programmer supports the driver in nearly all critical driving situations. So the driver is supported by the electronic stability programmer in nearly all critical driving situations. It comprises the functions of the anti-lock braking system, ABS, and the traction control system. So these functions are combined. The functions of the anti-lock braking system, ABS, and the traction control system, they are combined. And in addition to that, some more features are also provided in this particular electronic stability programmer. So it ESP detects vehicle skidding movements. So if the vehicle is about to skid, that is detected by the electronic stability programmer and that is actively counteracted by the electronic stability programmer. So this considerably improves the driving safety. The driving safety is considerably improved by using this electronic stability programmer. Up to 80% of all skidding accidents can be prevented by the electronic stability programmer. The ESP control unit compares the actual movement of the vehicle with the desired direction of travel 25 times per second. So this ESP is so active that it works 25 times per second. What it does is that it compares the actual movement of the vehicle with the desired direction of travel, and this is done 25 times per second. So the desired direction of travel can be known by the steering position, the steering angle, and the several sensors will help to know the actual movement of the vehicle. The several speed sensors, the speed of the individual vehicle is also sensed. So the operating principle of the electronic stability programmer, let us study what is the working principle or the principle of operation of this electronic stability programmer. On the basis of the steering angle, the system recognizes the direction, the desired direction of travel. So the desired direction of travel is recognized by the system on the basis of the steering angle. What is the steering angle? The steering angle will definitely give the information about the desired direction of travel. The driver will change the steering angle according to the desired direction. That's very obvious. Speed sensors on each wheel measure wheel speed. So speed sensors are provided on each wheel and they will measure the speed of each wheel separately, individually. At the same time, yaw rate sensors measure vehicle rotation around its vertical axis as well as lateral acceleration. So yaw rate sensors are also present. So these yaw rate sensors are those sensors which measure the vehicle's rotation about the vertical axis. So yaw is nothing but the rotation about the vertical axis. So the yaw rate sensors will definitely measure the vehicle rotation around its vertical axis, and at the same time the lateral acceleration is also sensed by these yaw rate sensors. From this data, the control unit calculates the actual movement of the vehicle. So these sensors are providing the data, right? So what are the sensors? The steering angle sensor, then the speed of individual wheel is also sensed. That sensor provides the data. The yaw rate sensors also provide the data. So all this data is provided to the control unit. The control unit will calculate the actual movement of the vehicle from all this data, and it can compare with the desired direction of travel, and this is done 25 times per second. So if the values do not correspond, the system reacts in an instant without any action on the part of the driver. So it reduces engine power in order to restore vehicle stability. So even if the driver is not responding, if there is no action from the driver side, still this electronic stability programmer will do its work, and uh, if the values do not correspond, the system will react and it will reduce the engine power in order to restore vehicle stability. So vehicle stability can be restored by even reducing the engine power, and if that is not sufficient, then it additionally brakes the individual vehicles. The individual vehicles are braked if it is not sufficient to reduce the engine power. So the resulting rotary movement of the vehicle counteracts the skidding movement. If the say engine power reducing the engine power is not sufficient, then the individual wheels are braked according to the requirement. The resulting rotary movement of the vehicle counteracts the skidding movement. So the skidding moment is counteracted within the limits of the laws of physics. The vehicle remains safely on the desired course. So all the laws of physics, the Newton's laws of motion, Newton's first law, second law, third law, all these laws are considered by this control system. The inertia of the vehicle is considered, and based on the laws of physics or within the limits of the laws of physics, all the laws of physics or the Newton's laws are applicable. So based on that or within the limits of the laws of physics, the vehicle remains safely on the desired course. So here you can see that this is our vehicle. So due to the another vehicle, the stability may be lost and the vehicle will run in a zigzag way. But due to the electronic stability controllers, you can see here the path of the our vehicle. It is slightly changed, but the stability is not lost. A slight curve is there, and then again it will move along a straight line in the forward direction, and there is no zigzag. There is no loss of stability. The vehicle will remain stable, or the loss of control on the vehicle will also not be there. The vehicle will be in control, and it will start again, it will resume its forward motion along a straight line after the short curve. So thus the stability is resumed due to this electronic stability control system. So here you can see that suddenly the driver sees a vehicle ahead, and he will try to steer in the left direction. So sudden steering in the left direction may lead to the loss of stability, but this stability is resumed due to the electronic stability control, and the vehicle will follow this path. So how this electronic stability control system works, let us see. So first of all, the wheel speed sensors will sense the speed of the individual wheel. So separate sensors is provided which can sense the speed of the wheel. It is provided at each wheel. Then at the same time, the yaw rate sensors are also provided. So these yaw rate sensors will sense the uh, motion, the rotary motion of the vehicle along the vertical axis. So this is the vertical axis, and this yaw will be sensed. Motion, yaw means motion of the vehicle or the turning of the vehicle about the vertical axis will also be sensed. So that should be within the limit. Then the steering angle will also be sensed. The steering angle of the vehicle will also be sensed so as to know the desired direction of the vehicle, the direction in which the driver desires to carry the vehicle. Then all these sensors will provide the data, the information to the control unit. The control unit will process all this information within fraction of second, and it will also control the hydraulic unit. So the hydraulic unit can increase the braking force, the braking pressure, or it can also decrease the braking pressure depending upon the requirement. How much braking is required for individual wheels. So that is checked, and accordingly the hydraulic unit will provide the braking force or the braking pressure to the individual wheels. So different braking pressure can be applied to the different wheels. If not required, some wheels will not be braked, and those wheels which are required to be braked, they, those wheels only will be braked, and the braking pressure will also be the desired one. So which will make keep the vehicle stable. So these are the various components. This is the electronic stability programmer. So it is acting as a control unit. It is receiving data from all the various sensors, and then this data is processed, and then it will control the hydraulic unit, which will adjust the braking force and the brake or the braking pressure so that the braking will be controlled or the rotation of the individual wheel can be controlled. So this is the wheel speed sensor. It is provided individually for each wheel. Then this is the steering angle sensor. The steering angle will also be sensed so as to know the desired direction of the vehicle. The steering angle sensor determines the steering angle and steering angle velocity. Then the inertial measurement unit. So the inertial measurement unit offers a 6-dimensional measurement of accelerations and angular rates in 3 axes. So the movement of the vehicle in all the 6 directions, the inertia or the acceleration of the vehicle in all the 6 directions, along with the angular motion or angular rate of motion about the 3 axes, that is x-axis, y-axis and z-axis, 2 horizontal axis and 1 vertical axis. So that is also sensed by this inertial measurement unit. Now let us go to the various features, additional features, and one of them is heel hold control. So this heel hold control supports the driver during heel starts. So many times it happens that whenever you are about to climb and your vehicle is in the stopped condition, then as soon as you remove the legs from the brake and try to press the accelerator pedal, in the meanwhile the vehicle will start moving in the backward direction. So you have to very fast, very quickly remove the leg from the brake and immediately you have to press the accelerator pedal. So this require a great skill, but uh, in critical road situations it becomes very difficult. So there are chances of the vehicle moving in the backward direction, and there are chances that the driver may lose control on the vehicle. So for that you need the help of the system like the heel hold control, which supports the driver during heel starts. So heel starts are not always easy, particularly when the vehicle is heavily loaded. When the vehicle is heavily loaded, that time it will move in the backward direction and the driver may lose control on the vehicle. The driver has to operate brake, accelerator and clutch pedals very fast in order to prevent the vehicle from accidentally rolling backward. There are chances that the vehicle may accidentally roll in the backward direction. Even though the driver operates the brake, accelerator and clutch pedals very fast, but still there are chances that the vehicle may roll in the backward direction. So heel hold control facilitates a heel start by keeping the brakes applied for about 2 more seconds after the driver has already released the brake pedal. So this is an important feature. How this feature works, how this heel hold control feature works. So even if the driver will release his legs from the brake pedal, after 2 seconds, 2 seconds after that, the brakes will remain applied. So heel hold control facilitates a heel start by keeping the brakes applied for about 2 more seconds after the driver has already released the brake pedal. The driver has enough time for changing from brake to accelerator pedal without using the handbrake. The driver is not required to use the handbrake also. So he gets some time. He gets 2 seconds to shift his leg from the brake pedal to the accelerator pedal, and that will prevent the vehicle from moving in the backward direction. The vehicle drives off comfortably and without rolling backwards. So this is the hill hold control. Uh, Here you can see that this is a steep road and the driver has to climb. The vehicle has been stopped and now it has to start and it has to climb. So the driver has been the brake has been pressed by the driver. Now when the driver releases his leg from the brake pedal and tries to accelerate, so in the meanwhile the vehicle may move in the backward direction. But due to heel hold control, the brakes remain applied for 2 seconds even after removing the leg from the brake pedals, so that the vehicle will not move in the backward direction in these 2 seconds, and within the 2 seconds the driver can shift his leg from the brake pedal to the accelerator pedal, and the vehicle will accelerate in the forward direction without moving in the backward direction. The adaptive load control, load adaptive control, it adapts the interventions of the active safety systems to the vehicle load. The volume and position of a commercial vehicle's load can vary considerably from trip to trip. So what is happening is that whenever the load on the vehicle changes, especially in the heavy duty vehicles, so if it is empty then the load is very less, and if it is fully loaded then there is a considerable increase in the load. So the driving system, the driving method will definitely change if the vehicle is empty and if the vehicle is fully loaded, right? So the driver may get confused, or he may not be used to that both the uh, situations, both the conditions when the vehicle is fully empty and the vehicle is fully loaded, right? So load adaptive control system will definitely help the driver to drive easily in such situation. The load has an important impact on the braking, the traction, the cornering ability, and the rollover tendency. So if the load is more, then the inertia is more, then the braking, you have to brake hard in that condition. The traction also changes depending upon the load, right? So traction is nothing but the attractive force between the wheels and the road. So when the load is more, then the traction will be more. But when the load is less, traction will be less. The cornering ability and the rollover tendency also depends upon the load on the vehicle. Load adaptive control identifies changes in the vehicle mass and the center of gravity along the longitudinal axis of the vehicle. So this load adaptive control will identify the change in the mass of the vehicle as well as change in the center of gravity along the longitudinal axis of the vehicle. So when the load changes, that has to be identified by the load adaptive control system, and when the load changes, the center of gravity of the vehicle also changes. So that is also required to be identified by the load adaptive control system, and it is adapting the interventions of ABS, traction control, and ESP to the vehicle load. So accordingly, these actions of the ABS system and the traction control system and the ESP system, that is the electronic stability control. So all these systems have to work in a different way if the load is changed. So that is enabled by the load adaptive control. In this way, load adaptive control optimizes braking effectiveness, traction, and stability. So stability is also optimized, traction is also optimized, and the braking effectiveness is also optimized with the help of the load adaptive control system. So here the stability is also maintained. So when the weight changes, then the vehicle stability criteria also changes. So the load adaptive control system will definitely work in such situation and maintain the stability of the vehicle in the various situations when the load is less as well as when the load is more. Now next is rollover mitigation system. So this rollover mitigation system reduces the risk of a vehicle's overturning. The vehicle may overturn when the height of the vehicle is more, when the center of gravity is at a higher level from the ground. At that time, there are chances of the overturning of the vehicle, but that is controlled by the rollover mitigation system. So this rollover mitigation system reduces the risk of a vehicle of overturning the load, and the higher center of gravity of light commercial vehicles make them reach a critical lateral acceleration faster than the passenger cars. So as compared to the passenger cars, the light commercial vehicles, they will reach a critical lateral acceleration very quickly, right? So what is this critical lateral acceleration? So whenever the speed of the vehicle increases, whenever the roads are inclined, whenever the left side may be higher than the right side of the road. So on such critical situations, when the speed is critical, so in these critical situations, what is happening is that the critical lateral acceleration will reach very quickly, right? So what will happen is that, what is critical lateral acceleration? That is that acceleration at which the there are chances of overturning of the vehicle. So whenever there are chances of overturning of the vehicle, then the acceleration of the vehicle has to be reduced, especially the critical lateral acceleration of the vehicle, especially the lateral acceleration of the vehicle has to be reduced. It should not reach the critical lateral acceleration, okay, so as to prevent the overturning of the vehicle. The risk of rollover is thus considerably higher. So in case of the light commercial vehicles and in case of critical road situations, the risk of rollover is considerably higher. Rollover mitigation constantly monitors the vehicle's behavior with the help of the ESP sensors and intervenes when the vehicle threatens to rollover. So whenever there are chances of rollover, that time the rollover mitigation system will interfere. That means it will control the system, it will reduce the speed, it will brake the wheels individually so as to decrease the lateral acceleration, and this lateral acceleration will be reduced as compared to the critical lateral acceleration. It will be prevented from reaching the critical lateral acceleration so as to prevent the rollover or the overturning of the vehicle. So rollover mitigation breaks individual wheels and reduces the driving torque. So as I have told that this rollover mitigation system controls the vehicle, especially it controls the individual wheels. It will break the individual wheels and it will reduce the driving torque to prevent rollover and stabilize the vehicle. In this way, the vehicle will be stabilized. So this is a vehicle. In this way, it can roll over in critical driving situations. Suddenly, if the steering is rotated, so there are chances that the vehicle may lose the stability and it may overturn. So this overturn is controlled by the rollover mitigation system. Next is the trailer sway mitigation. So the vehicles are having the trailers. So tractor is having the trailers. So the load, heavy load, and the heavy things are carried in the trailers. So the trailer may sway, and uh, if the sway of the trailer is beyond a particular limit, then the safety is at risk. So this trailer sway mitigation system provides increased safety when driving with trailers. Some vehicles are driving with trailers. So trailers sway easily. A minor steering error, a gust of wind, or a bump on the road surface can cause a critical increase in the swaying moment. So a minor steering error or a gust of wind. or a bump on the road surface can easily cause a critical increase in the swaying moment of the trailer. So the counter steering and the acceleration of the towing vehicle make the critical situation more severe. If you try to counter steer, then and the acceleration of the towing vehicle makes the situation makes the critical situation even more severe. So the situation becomes more severe maybe due to counter steering and due to the acceleration of the towing vehicle, especially the lateral acceleration. So with the help of the ESP sensors, trailer sway mitigation identifies these swaying movements. These swaying movements are identified by the trailer sway mitigation systems, and for this the electronic stability program sensors, the sensors which are used by the electronic stability program system are used by this trailer sway mitigation system, and that is swaying of the trailer is identified, and then intervening is done or control is done by braking individual wheels of the towing vehicles. So individual application of the brakes is very important, and generally control is done by applying the brakes to the individual wheels, and the brake pressure will be different for different wheels. The vehicle and trailer are slowed down to an uncritical speed and stabilized. So when the speed is uncritical, then stability is reached. So in this way you can see that this is the trailer, and this trailer, when the vehicle turns, when there is a steering, when the vehicle steers, then the trailer may sway. So the trailer may sway like this, as shown by these dotted arrows, but this swaying can be prevented, and this trailer and the vehicle both can move in along a straight line in the forward direction due to the trailer sway mitigation system. So that's all, my dear friends. Thank you.